Welcome to Speaking Cinema, Serious Movie Jibber Jabber, a movie podcast coming to you from the giant worm-infested dry lake bed that is Hollywood, California. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, at Speaking Cinema. Listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and from the AM radio in your 1971 Jeep Gladiator.
Yeah.
I am your host, Brother Jibber Jabber. With me, as usual, is my elephant gun-toting compadre, Kevin.
Yeehaw!
You got that buckshot? You got that,
All needs one bullet.
This week on the Jibber Jabber, the monster movie that breaks new ground. 1990s Tremors.
Literally breaks new ground.
Part of our continuing Halloween horror month. I could not be more excited for Tremors.
This is your wheelhouse right here. Horror
movies,
monsters,
movies I watched on the. It's my it's like the part of my childhood that I value greatly, which is the time I spent watching USA.
Yep.
On Sunday afternoon.
Sunday afternoons on USA had lots to offer.
And what did it have to offer? Tremors, starring Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward, Finn Carter, Michael Gross, Reba
McEntire.
That was Reba McEntire?
Yes, the country songstress.
Oh my god!
You didn't know that was Reba?
I might hate this movie.
Oh. Hey, don't let that sitcom that she did hang over this thing.
Oh man,
that sitcom's terrible.
Oh shit, my mind's blown. Directed by Ron Underwood, with the screenplay by S.S. Wilson and Brent Maddock. Produced by No Frills Film Production, distributed by Universal. If you're not familiar, natives of the small isolated town of Perfection, Nevada, defend themselves against strange underground creatures which are killing them one by one. Filming took place on Lone Pine, California, near Death Valley National Park, 200 miles east of Fresno. The town itself was built in about 2 months, sadly torn down after filming, which it would have been a cool movie buff road trip.
Now, every now and then there's like those sets that are still standing.
Where should we go, Kev? Where should we take a road trip
Supposedly there's some portions of the Thing set still standing in Vancouver.
Really?
So they say.
In the middle of nowhere, or is it like adjacent to a park?
In the middle of nowhere.
So. Where's the place?
Yeah, like hoof it.
Where's the place that we could go that we could like get brunch before and like lunch after?
The Griswold's house is in Burbank.
From
Christmas Vacation.
Okay, that's a good one. Oh, and the Halloween house I think is also in Pasadena.
Which house? Oh, yeah,
Halloween.
Yeah. Okay,
the first Halloween.
The junk. Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
All right, so maybe we should do like a east.
I have a Big Lebowski book that has all the LA Big Lebowski locations.
We should find where they are in Northeast LA. Go out there, get some brunch. Go there, get some lunch. Hit up Neon Arcade. Go home.
Yeah.
All right.
Dig it.
Prior to the film's release, Kevin Bacon recalled that he thought this was a career low for him, crying and screaming at his pregnant wife, "I can't believe I'm doing a movie about underground worms." Believe it, Kev. Believe it!
Right, keep in mind this is coming after Footloose. Kevin Bacon's already a big star, and yeah, he thinks this is a movie about underground worms. Like,
but it's also a movie being made by Universal, and he is the lead in the movie, so it's not like... Where did you find this out? Did you find this out when...
It was on Wikipedia.
Interesting. Kevin Bacon is coming out with the movie Cop Car right now, I believe available on your EST platforms, and probably soon coming to Netflix, where kids steal his cop car. And he was talking about it. I was watching a thing on there, and he was talking about it, and he's like, he said it, but
that's cool.
It ended up working out.
Tremors still coming back for Kevin Bacon.
While the film only had a modest box office haul during its theatrical run, it became a huge hit on TV and in home video, where it went on to triple its initial box office gross. This is one of my movies I watched on USA, A Cherished Memory, which I followed up by watching Tremors 2, renting it from Blockbuster, which is a less fun memory. But then I followed that up by renting Tremors 3 from Blockbuster, which is not a fun memory at all. This movie has been referenced, parodied on shows such as SpongeBob SquarePants and the Aquabat Super Show. Kev, you want to speak on this? Or
you ever watch the Aquabat Super Show?
I did not.
That's a weird show. It's on Netflix right now. It's a lot of fun, and they have some really goofy songs, but man, that show is weird.
Yeah.
It has a very odd sense of humor.
And what-
Yeah, they do. I believe there's an episode where they have an underground worm or some kind of underground bad guy, and they like specifically do shots from Tremors. You know, like,
Interesting.
Same angle, same action happens in it. It's a very like direct homage to Tremors.
Tremors went on to spawn 3 direct-to-video sequels and a short-lived TV series that aired on the Sci-Fi Channel in G4. As of this recording, Tremors is streaming on Netflix and is available for purchase digitally from major retailers, also on discs, DVD, and the Blu-ray. HD DVD still not supported. Laserdisc, can't promise anything. I believe I have seen this movie on Laserdisc and considered buying it for the sum of $1.
Really?
And I think my girlfriend was like, put that down. What the fuck's wrong with you? And I was like, yeah, you're right.
I'm going to Amoeba and looking for that. I'm gonna frame that thing.
Yeah,
That's
but shh, come on.
why not?
Amazon has the 4-movie attack pack on sale for Blu-ray for $19.65 and on DVD for $9.69. Hell of a deal. Prime shipping.
That does not include Prime shipping.
Interesting.
But
Interesting.
if you have Prime, ships are free.
Although I will say, and we'll get into this in 1 minute, I don't know what you're gonna do with those other 3 discs are not as valuable as the first one.
I think Tremors 2 has some.
Tremors 2 has some real gems in it.
Tremors 2 has a good balance of things that work and things that don't. Like in terms of like their plans, you know, like to get away from the monsters.
Yeah, and Tremors 2 really embraces the crazy gun-toting neighbor.
Yep.
In a way that is enjoyable.
Yep.
Tremors 3, I think, kind of loses track of itself.
Oh boy. I have not seen Tremors 4.
So I have, you know, we've talked about my involvement with this movie. Kev, how have you ever seen this movie, and when and where?
I sure have. Like you said, probably on like Fox on a Sunday at 3:00 when I didn't care about football. And
Waiting for football to come back, miserable, and then you find this fucking thing.
yep, you find Tremors and it just makes your whole afternoon. So I remember seeing it at Blockbuster a lot, like the VHS a lot. And then I also had a friend who, that's like this movie and Big Trouble in Little China, like his 2 favorite movies of all time. So.
Also, we're gonna have to do Big Trouble in Little China at one point.
Yeah, I'm all for it. So, but yeah, so I've seen Tremors has always kind of been part of my adolescent life. And yeah, it's a movie about giant worms. How can you not? How would you not be attracted to that? You'd be a snob, a rube.
You have to be a real fuzzy dum-dum. This one was chosen for our Halloween Horror Month as representative of the creature feature horror subgenre. Movies in the creature feature subgenre feature some kind of ghastly, nasty creature that terrorizes a city, group, town, people. Creature features have been a staple of Hollywood since the beginning, right? I mean, you go all the way back to King Kong in 1933. Britain had the Hammer films with Christopher Lee, the Dracula, your Flesh of Frankenstein, your vampires, all kinds of shit like that. Japan had Toho, which did Godzilla and other kaiju movies, which is the creature features, but those are big creatures as opposed to like the more manageable creatures.
Yeah.
Tremors really threading the line. They're big, but they're not gigantic.
Yeah, they're not Godzilla sized.
Yeah, so. Kev, where are you at on the creature features? Do you think why do you think that it's been around so long? Why do you like it, or do you like it?
I do like creature features for the most part. I think they can be done really poorly, a la anything on Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Or like Sharktopus versus Wolfnado.
Yeah. Wolfnado.
Sorry.
I'd watch that.
There's Sharktopus.
Sharknado, Sharktopus, Mega Crocodile.
Versus,
There's all kinds of them. Like, they can be really bad and stupid and whatever, But they can be a lot of fun, too. And I think it really lets somebody, like a creature designer, kind of run wild and make something really cool and iconic, And then you can use it in a lot of different ways. And I think it's stuck around because it's that general fear of, like, you can put a small town on, and how are regular yokels going to react to what a crisis that cannot be explained, and they have to figure out on their own wits how to stop it.
Right, exactly. It lends itself to a exactly what you said. Like you have to figure something out, and you have to use your wits to defeat it. And I think when a creature feature is great, Jaws, The Blob, Predator, Alien, Tremors, like when a creature feature is done well, it's just so fucking enjoyable, right? It's just there's such a satisfaction. You know, you love to love the monster, you love to hate the monster. There's characters that you like that you want to see succeed. When the characters that you like die, it's tragic. You know, it's real. It just feels great. You know what I mean? And there's this presence that's the antagonist, and you're rooting for everyone. And in some ways, you're just like, oh, the fucking thing, it had invisibility, and fuck, you know what I mean? And then there's times where it's done like okay, like Leviathan, and there's a lot of 80s creature features that I feel like, you know, they're serviceable but not great, you know. And then there's what we talked about, which is like the Sharknadoes and the, you know, fucking Lake Placids, where it's like, you guys are being dicks. You know what I mean? Stop. Like, what is this shit? You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the pitfalls of horror in general, and I'm sure as we go through Halloween Horror Month here, we're going to talk about this a lot, where it's like, people confuse flawed characters for being stupid. It's like, they need to be flawed, not moronic. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's a fine line to toe.
I think in some ways it's not. You know what I mean?
All
like,
right.
well, I think making a character, I think you're right. In some ways, I think you're right? In some ways, I think you're right. Especially when it comes like the jerk character who's angry, you know? It's like, but there's always that scene where, especially in slasher movies and creature features, you know, where it's like the guy's like, you know what? Fuck you all, I'm gonna do it myself. And it's like, there's a fucking shark, you know what I mean? There's a fucking alien, there's a fucking robot that's intelligent, that's meant to kill men. You're not gonna do shit by yourself. Like, stop it. You know what I mean? And at that moment, I think, yeah, it's hard to justify. It's hard to, that line is, but when it's like, you know, bad shit happens and people make dumb decisions, or characters that are annoying, that the whole idea that you want to see someone get killed, I think it's dumb in horror movies. The idea that you don't want to see anyone get killed, it's a tragedy when they die.
Yeah.
You know, it's a comedy if you want to see them get killed. But if the movie's not comedic and you want to see them get killed, I think that's Friday the 13th Part 3 territory. We want to be Friday the 13th Part 1 territory.
Yep.
So what do you think makes a good creature? What do you think makes a good creature? Not feature, creature. What's a good creature?
I think they just need an iconic look, a unique look. You can't just plug and play in any creature feature. I think they need to be an interesting product of their environment, I think. Like the Tremors worms are very, like, they would only work in the desert, you know? Like, you can't really put the Tremor worm in a city and have it have the same effect.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then powerful but not unstoppable.
Right.
You know, I think they need, like, there's natural weaknesses in any animal, any creature, and yeah, they're tough to beat, but you know, they're flawed enough that they can be stopped.
What you're talking about, I think, falls under the guise of quote-unquote good design, which is a very broad term. But what you want is everything that you're saying, right, where you understand the rules of this monster, what it's capable of, and maybe there's things you don't know, but you get a general understanding so that if that is subverted or played out logically, you like it. So, you know,
and they find out, or something they find out along the way. Like in Predator, they find out throughout the movie, oh, he sees thermally.
Right.
You know, so I'm going to cover myself in mud so that he can't.
Right, so that's revealed to in Predator, that's revealed to the audience because we see through the eyes of the Predator, and then Arnold is covered in mud and the thing can't see him, and then he figures out my heat is tied to his ability to find me, because, you know, the thing is just able to track us so well.
Yeah.
How is it doing this, you know? So exactly what you're saying. So you set up an expectation and you subvert it, right? It's like good storytelling. And in Tremors, there's lots of scenes where you see the worm underground, like, moving around, you know what I mean? So there's part of that design is the visual storytelling and either the CG or the puppets of the creature selling you on the idea that this thing exists, right? Like, you know, Tremors, you know, they do a lot of good job of not showing it, but showing the thing affecting the environment. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, if you see a creature and it just feels like a piece of plastic, that sucks, you know what I mean?
Or a guy in a rubber suit.
Guy in a rubber suit without any charm, or just CG weightless garbage, you know what I mean? You want to, if the thing's going to interact with the environment, you really want to see it interact with the environment. It has to be played off well in it. And I think creatures could be ugly, or they could be pretty, or they could be big, or they could be small, but it just has to be a coherent vision of a thing. You know what I mean? Where You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, the alien is the size of a man, but that thing feels deadly. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And it never feels like a guy in a suit when done correctly. But then you got, like, Aliens versus Predator, where it feels like CG nothingness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's pixels fighting each other.
And going back to Predator, in Predator 1 and Predator 2, the Predator is fast, agile, nimble, powerful. In Alien vs. Predator, it's like fat. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like, this dude ain't gonna kill me. Get the fuck out of here.
Exactly. Yeah, they should be dangerous.
I think that's a key thing too. They should be dangerous. There's an element of it being a threat, but not like overpowered, like you said. I think we're on the same page here.
Yeah, well, like Creature of the Black Lagoon, I was never scared of that guy.
And I agree with you, and I was very underwhelmed by that first movie. It is truly a B picture.
Yeah, it's like, what does he do? You know, it's like he'll pull you underwater and he'll drown you. Okay, don't swim.
I
Don't
guess.
swim in that pond he lives in.
Yeah, it's like it's the problem with Lake Placid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like don't go in Lake
Yeah.
Placid because there's an alligator.
And it's not like this is the middle of the city and our children are at risk. It's like it's the middle of the forest. Like let him alone. Fuck
Just
it.
let him do his thing.
Yeah. Kevin Bacon fan?
Oh yeah, I like Kevin Bacon.
I do like Kevin Bacon too.
Has an interesting career. Him and Michael Keaton have odd filmographies.
Well, right. I mean, this movie somewhat reignited his career. What probably really reignited it is the 1-2 punch of JFK and A Few Good Men within the next 2 years of this movie.
Two huge hits in the early
You know, but this kept him around in the post Footloose slump. So I'm a big fan of Kevin Bacon too. I think he has some missteps. I remember not liking Hollow Man when it came out.
My girlfriend hates Hollow Man.
Well, Hollow Man is a real fucking like. I mean, Hollow Man. It's like I get the powers of invisibility, so I'm gonna right away start molesting and raping women.
Kind of a creature feature, Hollow Man.
Well, it turns into it's a science fiction movie that turns into a creature feature that ends up as a slasher.
Yeah.
So it's a real. I think it'd be interesting to revisit that movie because it's kind of like, is it an indictment of like male patriarchy where it's like if a man gets this power he just uses it to abuse women immediately? You know what I mean? Like I don't know, man. Maybe we should revisit Hollow Man.
We can throw it on the list. I'll talk some Hollow Man talk. I'll make my
we might
girl
have to
watch it.
we might have to watch it and then decide.
Yeah, true. That was one of the first movies I ever rented on DVD. Was Hollow Man, and watched special features of. So
Indeed.
has a place in my heart.
Can you 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon to Jai Courtney?
Jai Courtney. All right, we're gonna try.
I don't even know who Jai Courtney is, so I cannot.
He's that bland action star who's in everything these days.
Oh, he's in Terminator.
Yeah, the new Terminator.
So do
All
it.
right, I'm gonna try.
So Kev Bakes.
So all right, so Jai. No, you start with the person.
Oh,
and
sorry.
Go back to Kevin.
Jai Courts.
Jay Court. Insurgent with Shailene Woodley.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's in that.
Okay.
Shailene Woodley.
Who's he playing? Who's he playing that?
I don't know. I
Okay.
don't watch those things. I just know he's in it.
Right.
Shailene Woodley in Descendants with George Clooney.
Okay. Alexander Payne, shout out.
Alexander Payne. Woo.
Watch our election episode or listen to it because there's no video. Go ahead.
Good thing there's no video. Just us sitting around. Anyways, George Clooney in. We're gonna go Three Kings
Okay.
with Mark Wahlberg.
Right.
Mark Wahlberg in. I gotta start narrowing it down now. Okay, Mark Wahlberg in The Departed with Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men with Kevin Bacon. Oh! I did it in 5.
Nice. Nicely done, Kev.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Did it.
Kevin Bacon. He's in a lot of movies, but he likes working. So good for him.
And he's a guy he's not like, oh, I always need to be the leading man. You know, he'll take a side role.
That's interesting. I was listening. He was on the Nerdist podcast recently, and I can't remember what movie he was in, but he was in some movie, and he was like, I can't. Money and prestige can no longer be the reason why I'm doing movies. I just got to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And so he's like, whether that's a big role or a small role. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, he was in the X-Men First Class movie. He's in this movie Cop Car, which is like this bizarro thriller where kids take a cop car and he's the evil villain with a mustache. You know, he did the Following TV show. He's kind of on his own little path right now, which I appreciate.
Yeah, it's nice to see him, I'm sure he's selective in his projects, but yeah, it doesn't have to be this one thing.
Right.
It's like he'll do a lot of different stuff. He'll change his hair, he'll put a mustache on, he'll do whatever it takes to get
And that's
what he wants to do.
no dig at the Will Smiths of the world, right? Who are Will Smith is exclusively in movies that, are his movies about him as a character. And that's cool. And then listen, if you want to deal with that level of pressure all the time, that's great. But, like, why not be, like, the villain in the X-Men movies? Like, why isn't that going to be fun?
Yeah, it's like you get to do the full range. You get to be the dark, gritty leading man, or you get to ham it up as a villain. You know, it's like, why limit yourself? So.
Indeed. You want to get into rapid fire here? Because I want to watch Tremors. I'm kind of itching I'm itching to do it.
You're itching for some Tremors.
If you got something else you want to talk about, I'll gladly talk about it with you. But I want to fucking watch some fucking.
Let's do rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Here we go. Who'd win the fight? Creature from the Black Lagoon or Wolfman?
Wolfman.
I want to put over Creech. I want to like Creech. It's gonna be Wolfman.
Yep.
Got to be Wolfman. Best Ray Harryhausen creature: Medusa or Skeleton Army?
I think the Medusa is pretty great. The skeletons are revolutionary, but the Medusa had more components to it.
I'm gonna say Skeleton Army because I just love a good Skeleton Army.
Yeah, good skeleton.
But I respect you. I think we can both agree. Fuck that owl.
That owl in Clash of the Titans, stupid.
Also, Clash of the Titans 80s version, real enjoyable movie. That fucking owl, man.
Just about ruins the whole damn thing.
It's bad.
Yes.
It's bad. It's bad.
He's terrible.
Best Kevin Bacon Sebastian. Sebastian Shaw, X-Men First Class. Sebastian Crane, Hollow Man.
I think X-Men First Class. I think he did something really interesting with that villain.
Most villainous would have gone to Hollow Man.
Oh yeah.
Best.
He's way worse in Hollow Man. In terms of, he kills a dog, for God's sake.
Yeah. He's I think X-Men First Class.
All right.
Yeah. Bacon and eggs or bacon and hash browns?
Bacon and eggs. Scrambled eggs.
I'm gonna go bacon and hash browns. That was tough. These are tough questions, Kev.
I make them tough. I make you think.
BLT or bacon and avocado?
Bacon and avocado, no question.
BLT, hold the mayo.
You've gone to your mayo screed.
We don't need to go back to it. Just BLT, no mayo, thank you. Which is scarier, one giant creature or a lot of little ones?
I think a lot of little ones, because especially if they can swarm you and surround you. I think that's a lot.
You have an example here?
I don't know, like little spiders, like in Arachnophobia.
No, I can't watch that movie. Can't watch it.
Really?
Can't watch it.
Ooh,
That's some arachnophobia of my own. I'm gonna say,
or like the slugs and Slither. You know.
Oh yeah.
Like they can swarm you, and I think to me that can be overwhelming. Whereas one big creature, you always kind of know where he's at.
I think you're right. I think lots of little ones is scarier, but I think one big one potentially is more enjoyable.
Yep.
Right. And
I mean, big one's capable of more big time destruction. Yeah, I think the little ones are more like your own personal. Like they're going to kill you, and they're going to overwhelm you.
I think I would enjoy something like Tremors with big monsters more than like something like Slither with small ones. You know what I mean? Nastiest creature in John Carpenter's The Thing: the dog flower or the chest chomper?
Yeah, I think that dog flower is nasty. I think it's gross.
It's pretty gross, but I think the chest chomper gets more gross things done. You know what I mean?
And it's a bigger shock too.
And then part of the chest chomper is the head that oozes out and then becomes a spider. Mm-hmm. So
a lot going on.
A lot of nasty shit going on.
So probably greatest creature feature of all time.
Undoubtedly. There's no. I can't even think of
so many different creatures.
Yeah, and I mean, Alien and Predator and Tremors and so many great ones. Blob, but that one is just like.
Love the Thing.
Best way to kill creatures: flamethrower or rocket launcher?
How about a little Slim Whitman from Mars Attacks?
John, was that Jack Black's character?
No.
Who is that?
When it's the grandma of one of the main characters.
Yes.
The Martians are sneaking up on her, and she turns, and her headphones come out of a record player, and then Slim Whitman playing,
and it blows up their heads.
And then they're driving around just blaring Slim Whitman blowing up heads.
Listen, if good old Slim gets you that result, go with Slim every time, right?
If there is no Slim Whitman available, rocket launcher.
I like the idea of a rocket launcher, but the problem is I feel like too many creature features rely on just blowing it up, right? We're just gonna blow it up.
Yeah.
And that really annoys me. So I want flamethrower. I like the Thing. The flamethrower, flamethrower is one of those weapons where this shit could go wrong real quick. You know what I mean? You're not careful. You know what I mean? You're gonna fry yourself.
Good.
So I'm gonna go flamethrower.
All right. I like the big explosion rocket launcher.
Too many anacondas where they just cheaply blow something up. You know what I mean? Rick Baker or Stan Winston?
I think Rick Baker was better at individual creatures and more humanoid type creatures, like putting makeup on somebody.
Sure.
And Stan Winston was better at the electronic style, like the T-Rex in Jurassic Park, although he could, of course, also do makeup. Tough pick. They're both legends, but I'm going with Rick Baker overall.
Stan did the Predator monster, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go with that. Listen, and I think we both love both these dudes, and I think value their accomplishments. But that Predator monster, it looks fucking real.
It does.
It looks fucking real.
And the T-Rex animatronic in Jurassic Park.
Looks great.
Looks real. But Rick Baker did all those aliens in Men in Black, and like so many, like just a creative explosion of like talent in that movie. So,
Indeed.
But yeah, both of those guys, legends. Stan Winston, rest in peace, of course.
Yeah, it's sad.
Rick Baker
has
retired. Went on a little screed against the movie industry and makeup industry. So,
yeah.
We're looking for the next Rick Baker in the world.
Maybe it'll be you.
Another guy to shout out too is Richard Taylor.
Who's that?
He did the Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh,
He's the head of Weta.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. That dude is like special effects genius. So we'll throw him out there too.
Godzilla or King Kong?
We'll go with Godzilla in this one.
I'm gonna say
more imposing, better powers.
I mean,
King Kong has a better story overall, but Godzilla is a better monster.
We gotta do King Kong in this podcast. I don't know if I understand the King Kong story.
All right,
but I'm gonna say it's tough because they both have a lot of bad movies. I'm gonna say King Kong.
Way more bad than good for both of these guys.
I'm gonna say King Kong. It has to be King Kong.
All right,
Mecha Godzilla or Mothra.
Mecha Godzilla. I had a Mecha Godzilla toy that I thought was the coolest thing ever. So Mecha Godzilla.
Yeah, it has to be Mecha Godzilla. It's a robot. It's a gigantic lizard, and it's a robot. And awesome. Mothra is a gigantic moth.
Yep.
Like moths aren't cool or really imposing.
Yep.
It has to be Mecha Godzilla.
Gotta be.
And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The terror of Mecha Godzilla is just the best name for anything in the history of everything. Rodan or Gamera?
I like Gamera. He's the big turtle, right?
I believe Rodan is kind of like a dinosaur-looking guy, and Gamera is a turtle.
Yeah, Gamera was like, because Rodan's kind of just Godzilla, like B Godzilla.
He's B Godzilla, but I think he got a couple good movies in, so I'm gonna go with Rodan.
All right,
but Gamera's fun. They're all fucking fun.
Did you ever play the game War of the Monsters for PlayStation 2?
No, I did not.
That's a fighting game where you play as big movie monsters and you fight. Like fictional movie monsters, but you fight in cities and you can throw cars and destroy things. It's a great game. It's a lot of fun. Check it out.
What does it hold? You think it holds up?
Oh yeah, I played it like a month ago and had a blast. It's a fun game.
It's tough. The gigantic monster games, it's a tough thing. Like I remember loving Rampage as a kid, and I replayed it recently, and it's like this is boring.
It's kind of clunky.
Yeah.
But yeah, the nostalgia factor will always be a part of Rampage.
And I just love the idea of just a gigantic monster.
Yep.
Just love it.
So fun.
War of the Kevins. Kevin Bacon? Kevin Sorbo.
Kevin Bacon all the time.
Yeah, Kevin Sorbo.
And one Kevin we can triple fuck is Kevin Costner. Triple fuck Kevin Costner.
Why?
I just don't like him. He seems like he's arrogant. And he makes stupid movies, and he was in Man of Steel.
You're talking about the Postman?
Yeah, the Postman, Waterworld.
I did like that Robin Hood movie.
Really?
Yeah. It's fun.
No, it's not.
It's just like no one's even attempting an accent. I kind of respect it. I respect the fact that it had enough wherewithal to be like, listen, we're not gonna fucking try. We're not gonna fake accents we can't do. We're just gonna talk like how we normally talk. It doesn't fucking matter.
All right.
Also, Morgan Freeman being a badass, like that too.
And Kevin Costner in that movie 13 Days about the Cuban Missile Crisis has like the worst Boston accent in the world.
Oh, see,
the worst.
Lost his perspective. Thought he could do it.
I bet he tried out to be Kennedy in that movie, and then they passed over. But you can be this guy, and then he like just hate fucked him by doing the worst Kennedy accent he could possibly do.
That's how you hate fuck.
So yeah, Kevin Costner, screw you.
All right, Kev, not a fan of Kevin Costner.
Don't like Kevin Costner.
We've established that.
Don't like it.
Established that. we're gonna get into play a game of what this movie. Then we're gonna get out of here, watch some fucking Tremors.
Some Tremors.
Ready?
Right.
Theme of the what this movie? Monsters and Kevin Bacon edition.
Yeah.
Here we go. Footloose.
Yes.
Definitely yes. And side note, me and my girlfriend did a double feature of original Footloose and Footloose remake. If you ever doubt the original Footloose, just watch the remake, because it's like every little thing is done wrong in that remake. And I have no nostalgia for this movie. I saw that movie the first time when I was like 28.
Yeah.
The original Footloose is like a goddamn Citizen Kane compared to the remake.
Wow.
It's just you're like, oh, it just every little thing clicks in that movie, and every little thing doesn't click in the other one. It's amazing.
I gotta check it out now.
Apollo 13.
No, I don't like that movie.
You know, I don't really like it either.
I remember seeing it as a kid and being like bored stiff in the theater. And everybody
Same.
like, oh my god, it's so amazing. That pissed me off.
Same. Wild Things.
that's a fun one. That's some easy titillation when you're 13.
Do you think it holds up?
No.
Yeah, it can't, right? There's no way. The
Not
whole movie
anyway.
the whole movie is predicated on the kiss between Nev Campbell and
Denise Richards.
Also, oh my god. That's crazy. I forgot it was them two. All right. Hollow Man, which is a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I think it's a fun movie overall. I like Paul Verhoeven, so I think he's saying more about what the thing is than what the movie's showing. So.
I saw it in the theater when it came out, and I remember being upset because it turned into a slasher movie. At the time, I was not appreciative of slasher movies at all. So this would be an interesting one to, as an adult, revisit. Godzilla 1954.
That's a good film. I actually just watched it for the first time recently.
Really?
It's a somber movie.
It really is, and it really only delves into kind of B movie storytelling on just a little bit. But yeah, it's a somber kind of like horror, played for horror kind of a movie. You know what I mean? It's like they're really afraid of Godzilla. Like it's a real menace in their lives, and there's a lot of like in a way that only movies can do, where it's like there's an old man at one point and he's like, Godzilla's been around for a while, and like we see him sometimes, you know what I mean, and like there's rumors. It's like it's a real menace. And
it was made in response to the nuclear bombs being
and I think as an adult you could really see that paranoia and that fear in there.
Yeah, and then the level of destruction that they do is
Right.
It's visceral. You know,
Right.
it's not played for yucks. It's a tragedy.
And indeed, and you know, it doesn't literally make sense. I mean, it kind of makes sense in the world of the 1950s before things like satellite imagery existed, and you know, it's like like there could be a gigantic monster. We don't know. I don't know what's going on around me, but like, yeah, it's interesting.
But then even spoiler alert, when they kill Godzilla, even that's like a somber moment too, because they're killing this creature that has been a part of their lives for so long.
Well, and also they're killing it with a device where the guy doesn't want to use it because it's too destructive.
Yep.
The oxygen destroyer bomb or whatever it's called. And there's an interesting parallel. There's lots of interesting parallels. It doesn't necessarily make sense in a literal way, but thematically, it's a very powerful movie.
Yes.
In stark contrast, to Godzilla 2014.
I really liked that movie.
Okay.
I liked it.
Okay. Well,
I
then
thought it stuck with the idea of it keeping the story at a human level. I thought makes it interesting. And I like the design of Godzilla. He's like Komodo dragon and grizzly bear.
I do like the design of Godzilla. I think the destruction was good. I think where this movie really falls apart for me is that it's only about, because the stated intention by the director was the idea that Godzilla is like a natural disaster which affects everybody. And I think the problem is that there's not enough characters in the movie. It keeps happening to this one kid played by the guy from Kick-Ass over and over again. It happens to him in Japan, happens to him in Hawaii, happens to him in Vegas, happens to him in California, in San Francisco, right? And it doesn't really make sense. Why is it, if it's supposed to be about everyone, it should have been like his story begins and ends in Japan. Then someone else is in Hawaii. Someone else is in Vegas. Someone else is in this and that, the other thing.
Good point.
And that way it shows how the idea that it affects many people in many different ways. And I think they really fucked up the movie by just making it be about him.
All right.
And killing off Bryan Cranston, I think would have worked in my version of the movie, but doesn't really work in the version of the movie that they made.
Is it just because his performance is good?
His performance is really good, but I think his performance, first of all, is fucking phenomenal. But then right when he is about to go on an adventure with his son, they kill him off. And his son goes on it alone. It doesn't really learn anything. Like, no one learns anything in that movie. You know what I mean?
It's a comedy.
It ends up being a comedy. You know what I mean? Also, and we'll move off this, I swear. But my girlfriend had no contextual information about Godzilla at all. Had never seen a Godzilla movie and was not familiar with the character. So when Godzilla's tail and his spines light up, and then he blows the fire down the Muto's face, she was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Wow, that was a great moment." You know what I mean?
That atomic breath just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, she was like, "What? He can do that?" It was like, oh man, she popped. Like, she was like a fucking firework going off in the movie theater.
Great.
It's great. Eight-Legged Freaks.
Never saw it.
Never saw it either. So
Heard it was fun.
I heard it was fun, but I don't know if I believe it.
Yeah.
Cloverfield.
Has good moments, but I think gets stuck in the found footage rut.
And I believe has first act problems.
Oh, yeah.
Where most movies have third act problems, it's like you had one job in this first act, which is to make the people I'm following likable, and you fucked it up.
Yep.
Like the main dude is like, this guy is a piece of shit. He's rude to his girlfriend. Like I remember she wants to go somewhere or do something, and he's just like, but babe, what about? It's like, come on. This is like a douchebag's version of a sympathetic character.
Yep. Agreed. Monster's cool though.
Frankenstein.
Good. Yes.
We're talking about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein from the 90s?
No, like original.
Oh.
Okay. Boris Karloff.
Oh, yeah. Great.
Also, very interesting interpretation of that book.
Yeah, right?
In the book, the monster is very literate, and in the movie,
he's kind of a dum-dum.
Yeah, he's a dum-dum.
So, yeah, it's very... it's a very simplified version, and it's kind of the idea of, like, the monsters being persecuted, too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It takes in the movie, I think, the book is about the fear of creating a race superior to our own. In the movie is the idea of, like, creating a child that doesn't know any better. You know what I'm saying? And, yeah, it's a very different interpretation of that.
Nobody's pulled off a direct movie version of that book either. Mm-hmm. Surely not that 1990 Kenneth Branagh thing.
Ooh. The Fly, Cronenberg edition.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Amazing movie.
Gross.
Really amazing. That's a movie that, like, at a certain point in the 90s got played on, like, Saturday morning TV, and it was, like, on a USA, not, like, with kids programming, but I remember finding it and being like, oh, my God, like...
Yeah, when he breaks the guy's arm, and
fucked up.
The baboon that's inside out when he tests the teleporter for the first time, just great creature effects, gross movie.
Van Helsing.
Movie's terrible.
A great nugget of an idea executed to its terrible conclusion.
That movie's so... All I remember that movie is it's loud as shit. Like, the theater was, like, shaking, and, like, my ears hurt afterwards.
I usually like that, but interesting.
Yeah, that one was too much.
Stir of Echoes. Another Kevin Bacon, right?
Yeah, it's Kevin Bacon. Never saw it.
I did not like it. At the time, I was very hung up on the rules of time travel, and I feel like this movie violated those rules. I have since calmed down in my anger and hatred, so, maybe it's good. I don't know. Mystic River.
It's an okay crime thriller. Too many coincidences.
Never saw it.
It's worth a watch.
The Host.
Fun to a point. I think that movie has tone issues.
A little bit all over the place, and really, it's truly an idea that this monster movie is about this family. It is not about a monster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that is a thing that's going on. The monster is a tragedy in this family's life. Instead of it being, like, a real tragedy, it's more fun because it's a monster.
It goes through, like, does it want to be a parody of these because it has comedy moments, but then it has these really deep, dark family moments, and totally that movie is all over the place. But interesting talent out of Korea.
Right, and an interesting take on it, you know what I mean? It really is an interesting take on it, yeah. So I think, overall, I put it in the win category.
All right.
The Thing. John Carpenter?
John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Come on.
The best movie of all time.
It's great.
It's probably my favorite movie. It's just amazing.
It's up there for me.
And it's one of those things where I think people, because it's horror and because it's a creature feature, dismiss it. But and just in terms of fuck themes, in terms of just storytelling, there's so much going on. Every little twist, like how did the creature get the key? But like in this scene, this guy drops the key, and then in this scene, this guy disappears, and then whatever. And who's he talking to? And it must have been this guy this time. And does the creature know it's a creature? So much going on. It's really a masterpiece.
And listen to it with the commentary from John Carpenter and Kurt Russell.
Don't they talk about how drunk they got all the time?
Oh yeah, it was cold. You gotta get drunk.
Them.
Never seen it.
Never seen that either. Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Like I said, kind of not a scary creature. Not a big fan.
Yeah, I just feel like I need to like talk to someone who gets it, because I just feel like I didn't take anything away from that movie.
Yeah, same here.
Jaws.
I mean, legendary. Great.
The Thing is probably my favorite movie, but the Jaws might be the best creature feature of all time.
Yep.
Because it's just like, oh, such a fucking it's just such a menacing movie. Mm-hmm. Great. Frankenstein. Again? Or which edition would this be?
That's probably typed it twice.
Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein.
Haven't seen it.
I do want to see it. Quentin Tarantino puts it over as a really great... when it's a comedy, it's a straight up comedy. When it's a horror movie, it's a straight up horror movie. And it just shifts on a dime.
Interesting.
I want to check that out.
I've always been more of a Marx Brothers fan, though, than Abbott and Costello.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The Wolfman.
Yeah, it's a good monster. I don't know if they made a good Wolfman movie. I really had high hopes for that Benicio del Toro one.
Yeah, it got fucked up. Studio meddled in it.
Mark Romanek should have made that. He was the guy who was in charge first, and then
it was one of the situations where they're like, we don't want to spend this much money, so change the third act so there's no action in it. And then once they were done editing it, they're like, there's no action in this third act. Let's go back and shoot it again. And it's just like, ugh.
I had high hopes.
I think the best werewolf movie is American Werewolf in London, and also the one that Joe Dante did, The Howling.
Oh yeah,
those are two really good werewolf movies.
Also, are we ever gonna get a single take werewolf transformation? I think that's what a real werewolf movie needs. Single take transformation.
I think we'll get it.
Not done with a lot of cuts.
I think we'll get it when you and me get to make movies.
Yeah.
The Mummy. Brendan Fraser, The Mummy, or the classic?
Let's do both. Classic's kind of whatever.
Classic kind of whatever. I do like that Brendan Fraser Mummy.
The first one's fun.
Well, so let's. The franchise is garbage. Yeah. That first one is just a really excellently done movie. There's a really good library. What is a place like this doing in A Girl Like Me? Yeah. When Rachel gets drunk, Weisz gets drunk. Yep. Just a lot of. It's a fucking great movie.
I like the scarabs in that movie.
Yeah, the scarabs are great.
Your skin and the burrow, it's good.
It's a solid movie.
Arnold Vosloo. Whatever happened to that guy? He was a good villain.
The Mummy. Monsters Inc.
It's great. Pixar.
Yeah, great take on
good subversion of like monsters and horror and what.
Right, making a movie about monsters that hide underneath your bed for children. Terrible idea, executed to its logical greatness.
Yep,
amazing. Pacific Rim.
Fantastic.
It's just a real enjoyable. If you want to have fun, it's just a fucking fun movie. Yep. And it doesn't, and like people are always like, oh, it's so dumb, but it's like, it's not dumb. It doesn't insult your intelligence with fake romance. It doesn't insult your intelligence with weird, like, you can't do this, you're a woman. It's like, there's just characters, and they all just fucking do their shit. You know what I mean? And
it builds an interesting world. Yeah, right. It has, I like that the Jaeger drivers are like rock stars, and they're celebrities, and there's all kinds of different monsters that all pose different challenges. Mm-hmm. It's just, Guillermo del Toro on a platter.
Right.
It's just a great time.
Can't wait for Pacific Rim 2.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Pitch Black.
Never liked that franchise, personally.
I've never seen anything other than Pitch Black. I remember not liking it and then later liking it, so I don't know, man. I don't know where I stand on it.
Yeah, I was never a fan.
Troll Hunter.
This movie got a lot of hype because they made it with such a low budget, and it has okay special effects, but I did not like that movie.
I started on Netflix, and I just couldn't get into it either.
It was just, it's just such a slog. That's what happens when you have a concept and no story. That's what happens. It's just...
And you have the technical ability, but no vision.
Yep.
Predator.
I mean, a classic.
Yeah,
Come on.
it's great.
Probably the greatest single creature, I would say.
And there's a thing that I think that Fox has not played through to its logical conclusion, where it's like, it's a creature, and I'll try to make this as brief as possible, but it's a creature that is of profound intellect and profound technological advancement, right? It's able to transverse the stars, right? You can't get there without a real understanding of science, but then culturally has shifted back to what we would consider to be a tribal concept, right? And I think that, especially in the alien world, is not explored at all. Because you have like the engineers, right? Who it seems like there's two elder races. You have the engineers and the predators. And the engineers reach a level of technological sophistication and then decide to create life, right? And go the next level to become like godlike. And then you have the predator that reach a level of technological superiority and then go the opposite way, where they go back to a tribalism. And I think that is not explored enough. You know what I mean? Where it's like the creature in its own mind takes the lowest of tech and goes out there and hunts the deadliest of game. You know what I mean? Like, to it, it's like I'm using, like this like dagger and then the little ion cannon that he has. But to him, that's not advanced technology, right? That to him, that's like to what we would think if we were gonna go hunt a deer and we had like a shotgun, we'd be like, yeah, it's a shotgun. It's not like an advanced weapon. But to like someone 100 years ago, what would be a modern day shotgun to us is like fucking science fiction, right?
Uh-huh.
So I just think that they don't do enough with that, and I also think that they have, in terms of like if combat sports, right? You're not building up the villain, right? Like he lost to Arnold in that first one, but it was a close fight. They lose to Danny Glover in the second one, and it's like, well, he probably should have won. And then in the Alien vs Predator, they keep jobbing him out to randos. It's like they need to make. And then in the Predators movie, they kind of lost that concept. It's like they need to make a Predator movie where he goes up against commandos and fucking slaughters every one of them and wins.
Shane Black might be working on that.
I hope he does it. I hope he does it good.
We'll see.
Because you can't have you have to put him over. He needs a victory.
He does. Yeah.
And that's my Predator.
He's too formidable a villain.
Yeah, he's supposed to be the apex predator, but he never wins.
Yep. Gets outsmarted by Danny Glover.
Come on. Mars Attacks.
It's a fun film, underrated.
I saw that movie in a time where I was taking myself too seriously, and the movie's very goofy.
Yeah.
So I think I need to revisit it for sure.
It's worth a rewatch.
Nosferatu.
The original, I mean, that's a classic monster movie.
Yeah.
Right there. So.
Right. Bold.
Still creepy.
Yeah, still creepy after all these years.
Yep.
Flatliners. Never seen it.
Never seen it.
Mm-hmm. So that's it for us. Last minute plugs, Kev.
Got nothing. Let's
fucking just get into the Tremors. Here we go.
Here we go. Tremors.
And we're back.
We're back.
Tremors. How'd you watch it?
So we were hoodwinked because it's not on Netflix anymore. And I discovered that on Friday, the day before we're recording this.
Got off of work, went home, fired up Netflix, didn't see it, searched for it, didn't find it.
Well, it was on Amazon to rent.
Which is how I rented it.
For $3.99 in HD.
I did pay my full HD.
And I thought for $3.99 I might as well just go buy it. So I went to my local Best Buy. And they had was the Tremors Attack Pack, which is all 4 Tremors movies for $20 on Blu-ray.
Did you call ahead?
I did not call ahead. I went in there cold. But picked up the Tremors Attack Pack for $20 and then watched it on Blu-ray.
Commentary on that disc or any features?
There's definitely features. It was a little late, so I was getting tired.
Right.
They have like an hour-long making of, deleted scenes. Don't remember if there's commentary though. So, and also 3 other Tremors movies.
And good luck with those. The 2 and 3 I think are fun. I don't know about 4.
Yeah.
Or 2 is fun. 3 is whatever.
I've seen 2. 2's a good time. Mm-hmm. I've not seen 3 or 4.
When I rented mine, it was weird. Because there's 2 Universal logos. There was the new one, with all the...
Yeah.
And then there was the old one right after it.
Well, I think they do that because the first one's the home release one.
That makes sense.
So it's like Universal Home Video. It's all shiny and new to show you, like, okay, you've purchased this from this division of Universal, and then goes into the movie, which has
the old logo.
The old Universal logo.
Okay.
Yeah.
The RCA, RCA company.
Yep.
Plot summary, Kev, you want to hit us with it?
All right. Plot summary. We follow Valentine and Earl in the town of Perfection, Nevada, population 14. They are two handymen who kind of do whatever odd jobs around Perfection need to be done. Septic tank work, cleaning up the trash,
setting up fences
for people's cattle, And they decide that they're tired of living in Perfection. They want to move to Bixby, where apparently that's where the big money is,
Is that a joke that I don't understand because I've never been to Bixby?
I have no idea.
Okay. Moving on.
I mean, yeah, it's a small town. Bixby probably has like 2,000 people in it, and they probably think that's where the big city, big gettins are. They run into a girl. What's her name?
I don't remember, but she is a college seismology student, which there's a hilarious joke. Geography, actually seismology. Good joke.
With the ground shaking. And she is studying out in Perfection, and she starts feeling these weird vibrations. She's like, is somebody blasting around here? Is there like a train rolling through? I don't know. So that's kind of our first hint that something might be amiss. On their way out of Bixby, Earl and Valentine discover an old man in the power lines. Also, we got a name here? Rhonda, that's right. They discover an old man in the power lines who has died of dehydration. And they say, well, why would he be up there for days on end dying of dehydration? So they drive back to try and figure out why he's dead. Then a farmer gets eaten, and his sheep get eaten. And then the doctor's couple get their car eaten by something. And there's a road crew.
An unknown fiend.
An unknown force. And then there's a road crew working on the one road out of Perfection. They also get eaten. The Tremors cause an avalanche of rocks, and it blocks the road. So nobody can get out of Perfection by normal means.
And the phones are down. And it's before cell phones.
Exactly. Then they discover there's these huge worms digging through Perfection, and they have to try and solve, it feels their vibrations when they walk on the ground, so it's not safe for them just to traverse anywhere, so they have to solve the problem of how do we kill these things without walking on the ground and save our town, save our people. Yes. Tremors.
That is the plot of Tremors. So Kev, what'd you think?
It's a fun movie. Still a fun movie.
Still a fun movie. That is the thesis statement here. Mm-hmm. Still kicking it.
It's just, it breezes by at a svelte 95 minutes.
Yeah, and it is constant for a movie where people are stuck places because giant worms will get them if they. The movie is a big game of hot lava where if you touch the ground, the lava will get you, but. God damn it moves. It just chugs right along.
It's just kinetic, and they find new ways to put people in different positions and get them in new kinds of trouble with the worms, and there's never a dull moment in Tremors.
And it's a horror movie, that's not in question. It's in the sunlight, which is very unusual for the horror movie. There's one nighttime shot and one nighttime horror sequence. All the other horror sequences are in broad daylight, which I really respect. And it's just it's a really fun movie, and it's just
it's not a serious horror movie.
Yes,
incredibly tongue-in-cheek.
And I think the thesis on that is when the girl, they find the worm, and they're fantasizing about how they're gonna get it and stuff it and make a bunch of money off of it, and after they killed the first one, and she's digging through her bag and she's tearing through her notes and stuff, and she's like, no, there's 3 other ones of these. Look, here are my seismograph sheets. This one here, and it's just explaining it, and they go, yeah, we believe you. And that level of someone starts to explain something and everyone just says, I believe you, permeates the whole movie.
Yep.
But it's never a cop out. It's always just listen, audience, this is the truth. There's no need to us have this false sense of someone doesn't believe it, and then they get proven wrong, and right before they die, they realize their mistake. The tropes of bad horror movies, that's like a trope of a bad horror movie.
Yep.
Fuck that. Like, there's 3 of them. I believe you. Great. Because there is 3. We're moving on. And then, when it's like, later in the movie, they're stuck on the roofs, and the worms are testing the foundations of the buildings, and the guy's like, why is he bothering them? Like, they're not moving at all. And he's like, they're testing out the foundation to see what's going on. And the visual storytelling, I've already told you that. And then the guy's like, okay, because it's true. We know it's true. So there's no need for this character to be stupid for no reason, to be like, oh, I don't believe it. It's like, yeah, we saw the worms rooting around at the bottom of the buildings, and then the building's starting to shake. We know that they're testing it. Someone says it. Go, move on. No need for false conflict.
Conflict, yeah.
No need
for false conflict.
There's no need for false conflict. This movie has no false. There's no arguments that are dumb like that. There's fun arguments, but they're over and they're out. You know what I mean? In a shittier version of this movie, Bert would be, I'm going off on my own, and he gets killed. It's like. Everyone gets mad, but they get mad in a way where how you would get mad. So what I'm trying to say is, for being such a wackadoo movie, there is a level of truthful reality to how everyone acts that feels great.
Yeah, the only person who is kind of an issue is Melvin, and that's just because he's a shithead kid. But he pays the price, but it's...
I watched a movie with my girlfriend, which is exceedingly rare because she hates horror movies, and she's like... And then she hits me with like, oh, I've seen it before. It's like, bullshit. But anyway, she's like, yeah, that Melvin, I hate him. I was like, yep.
That's just because he's a dumb 14-year-old kid who has nothing better to do in his life, Instead of helping the guys with the septic tank, he laughs at them when they get covered in shit.
The banter in this movie is great. So the septic tank, they're moving trash with a big bulldozer, which comes... Also, back up. This movie is exceedingly well made. It's a well-made movie, and that you just can't. Even if you don't like it, if you don't like horror, every joke is called back. Everything is set up. Everything that they do is set up at an earlier time before. The camera movements are great. There's great crane shots. Or there's a scene where they're checking on the dead sheep, and like the car parks, the crane dollies back, it goes up, it comes back down. It's like the camera work is exceedingly great. And the banter is fucking funny. And it's like, what? How many years later?
We are 25 years.
And it's still fucking funny.
It's still funny. It's like Shaun of the Dead before Shaun of the Dead happened, It really has these clever callbacks to, like, mundane things that in the beginning are just like, oh, that's just kind of mundane. And then, yeah, later on it takes on a whole new thing, and they say it again, and it's a whole new joke now.
And the movie's quick, too. Like... it's like they're scooping up trash, like I was saying before, with the
bulldozer.
With the bulldozer, and then Kevin Bacon's like, "This is the lowest of the low." Hard cut to them doing septic work, and they're arguing about that. And then they turn on the septic thing, and the pipes start leaking. They get covered in fucking gross shit. And then hard cut to them packing up their truck and leaving.
Like, we're out of here.
And it's just, the movie just like, fuck it, we're out of here. We're moving. Keep moving, and it's great. I forgot how well made there was. Now, caveat to this, all the effects are practical, and for the most part, they're really great. Especially how the big worm itself looks. Mm-hmm. The tongues look a little puppety, I think, but the big worm itself looks really, really good.
And they know in some shots when to get out of it, too. Like,
yes.
They have the full-on practical worm doing things... attacking somebody. If you held in that shot 3 or 4 seconds longer, you would just be like, that thing looks stupid. Yeah. But they have the perfect length where it's like, you believe it, you see what it's doing, and they're out of there. And it still looks great.
And because the effects, because of the worm, basically it looks like they just have like a sort of bag underneath the ground, and they like drag something across it, and it kind of bubbles the loose dirt. So there's a lot of scenes where Kevin Bacon or the main girl, Rhonda are on top of the dirt that's moving, and that's a really great sense of like, this is real, this is really happening, because they're physically being moved. But there is one scene where the worm crashes into Bert's house. Bert and Reba McEntire, shout out Reba, who I did not remember that it was Reba McEntire who was in this, and she did a good job for what she didn't, her role is not very challenging, but she, you know,
Yeah, for what she has to do.
for what's being called
she's
for.
Perfect.
Yeah, totally.
And she has the ending song for this.
Yes,
movie
she
too.
does.
Good on her.
My girlfriend loved it. So they start unloading guns into the thing, and I feel like that was the only scene where you feel like the worm is in one building, they are in a separate whole building, and they are not interacting at all, right?
Yeah.
Because like the worm is yelling into the camera, they are shooting into the camera, and there's never a shot that really truly feels like they're in the same room.
Yeah, there's not like a 2-shot. The worm in one section, them in another.
They do it for 1 second, and it looks like shit because it's totally like a plates. You know what I mean?
No question.
And I think that scene's supposed to be funny where they just keep unloading onto this worm.
Well, it's funny because they have their guns.
There's a great
They're
reveal.
shooting at it, and then they run out of bullets. Quick pan over to a wall of guns,
Right.
and they just take the next one off and just keep shooting it. So it's just great little jokes like that through the whole thing.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I mean, again, that scene's played for a laugh, so it's on that. But that was the only time, like, as an adult looking back on this, and someone who knows more about movies than I did when I was a kid, I'm like, oh, that's a miniature shot. Like, oh, that's a whatever. But it's all cut in a way where it feels very well made. I mean, even they do a lot with the limitations of what physical can do. Like when one dude's crushed by an avalanche of rocks. It's like that's completely implied. He runs over to the side. You see him look up, and then now he's gone from the shot, and you're just looking up and seeing rocks fall over, and you hear him scream. And they've just visually told that without actually showing you anything. And then they pay off with a little bit of gore later, where you see his like fucked up helmet covered in blood.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, fucking whatever.
And yeah, even though this movie does have a body count, but it never feels like crushing when somebody dies. You know,
It doesn't.
like
I
especially
mean, because it's a fun movie, but all the characters are likable,
Yeah.
which is an interesting thing because a lot of horror movies, and especially all of the bad ones, take joy in the idea, and I think it's because either they are stupid or they don't really like horror, where it's like, oh, they're dumb, so you want them to die. It's like that's not.
You don't want to root for the killer.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but it's a false pretense. Like, and there's also no stakes to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in this movie, you don't really know who dies, and I kind of forgot. I'm like, is this Mexican dude gonna get it? Like, is the white redneck guy gonna get it? Is the like you know Bake's not gonna die because you know that Bert's not gonna die. You know Ron's not gonna die. They're off limits because they're the stars. But for everyone else, you're like, they're not gonna kill a kid, but the mom. I don't know. She's wearing some real ugly overalls. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I feel like it's not overly sad because the movie's a goofy movie, but I feel like speaking to how well this is made, they don't make the characters just shitty and stupid.
Exactly.
Where you're just like, I can't wait for this character. There's no go home heat. Like I want you to not be in this movie anymore because I don't like looking or hearing you. That is not present. It's like. They're likable enough characters. Just the movie doesn't have high stakes because it just doesn't.
Exactly.
Although the scenes where they're sad are sad, right? Where
It's like we lost our homie, you know.
Yeah, and when they when they're like, Bert, get out of the house, Bert, get out of the house, and then he doesn't get out of the house, and then Kevin Bacon drops the fucking radio.
Oh yeah.
Really well done. Kevin Bacon, for someone who reportedly did not want to be in this movie, is really selling you on this performance. He is not phoning this in.
He goes full redneck in it, but in a believable, charming way.
It seems like he's having the most fun.
Yep. Him and Fred Ward, they make a good duo. Their whole, even just the rock, paper, scissors banter
Right.
they do is great. And yeah, he's thrown himself completely into what apparently he thought was a thankless role. So
Right.
it's, good on him. Good on you, Bakes.
Yeah, dude, Bacon, for someone who seemed miserable, I mean, it's just the movie's so fun, and his humor is adding so much to it. Are you got some quotes here for me, or what?
I mean, he gives probably my favorite fuck you in cinema history.
Right. So the worm is chasing them, it crashes into the cement,
like a duct or something.
Yeah, aqueduct.
Yep.
And it kills itself by hitting it head on, and he's just like...
Bacon goes, yeah! Fuck you! And it's
So
great.
I laughed so hard last night when I saw that. So hard. I just also so the townspeople were asking the seismologist student what is this thing? And she's like, these things are unprecedented. There's nothing like it in the fossil record. And then they say, yeah, but where does it come from? Yeah. There's so many good lines.
And there's one part, it's after they've discovered the worms.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's after the farmer, they discover him, and Earl is walking, and he falls, and he goes, and they think he's getting grabbed.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, it's just a gopher burrow." And Kevin Bacon's like, "I hate prairie dogs."
Yeah, I hate prairie dogs.
Hate prairie dogs.
Yeah,
They're so genuine in that moment of like, they should be scared of these worms, but they still hate prairie dogs.
Yeah,
They're like, goddamn
exactly.
prairie dogs.
And, oh man, it's so good. And, you know, that moment, there's not a big, like, music sting or anything. He just falls into it and starts screaming, and you're like, what the fuck? You know, and then, it just paid off so well like that. Also, how is this funny after 25 years? But when they're on the radio with Bert, and he says, "Bert, get out of your house," and then he stops talking, and then he reaches over, he's like, "Say over."
Yeah. Over, and then it cuts to Bert talking,
Yeah.
So.
Ugh. I also forgot, and even as a kid, I love this, and I couldn't put it into words at the time, but the movie's very physical, right? Like, you see people, they get moved by when the earth moves, right? And then there's lots of running, there's lots of, like, the actors crawling on rocks, and it's them actually crawling on the rock.
Yeah,
like,
I remember, there's one I noted when Kevin Bacon's when he's testing out to see the worms.
Yeah.
He's like Spider-Man-ing on
right,
this rock.
yeah, so he's Spider-Man down the rock. That shot is so
cowboy
evocative.
boots.
Right.
Like, that's hard.
That shot's so evocative to me, where he crawls down, he uses his foot to get him a piece of wood, and he's like tapping the ground, and he's like, "Careful, them things got a 6-foot reach." He's like, "Thank you, Bert," and he's just tapping the ground, and then it grabs his wood. To me, there's something so evocative about just getting the actors and getting them in it, and it just, I don't know, like how it adds to the movie, but it's just something that like movies don't really do, where it's like,
yeah, they're actually like, you can tell in the shot, it's them crawling on rocks. It's probably hot out there. You know, they filmed this thing in Lone Pine, which is near Death Valley. And yeah, it's not like they're not doing a close frame where he didn't actually have to do that. It's like he's crawling down that rock in his costume.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
yeah.
And I think that just adds to the performance of, and he makes it also look like that Valentine's done it a million times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like this isn't his first time crawling down a rock or doing something physical or nasty, you know.
And then, like, when they're running away, she loses her pants, and also good riddance to those fucking pants. They were so awful. She loses her pants, and then they're running on the like the wooden slats that make the sidewalk of the building, and then the things coming under it, and they're all flying up. It's just like that feels so cool,
and a great sound of like like the wood clattering against each other.
Right? So. Yeah, that clatter is just like, and then probably one of my favorite scene, maybe my favorite scene in the movie. But that's hard to say. They're back in the convenience store. The freezer goes off, and they've already set it up before. They see that the bearings are shot in the freezer or something, and it's causing it to vibrate uncontrollably. Kevin Bacon jumps on top of it, trying to reach behind, and then the Asian business owner and Bert are there, and he's like, "Move it out from the wall." They're throwing sodas out of the way, like big stacks of sodas. The sodas are exploding, and he finally pulls it out. He's like, "I got it!" Boom! Right next to them, the fucking creature comes through the ground. Also, the foundation on that building,
shoddy.
Swiss cheese, apparently. And I just like the physicality of the movie feels great. You know what I mean?
Yep. No, just really good. And it's not just Kevin Bacon. Everybody's run through the dirt, climbing stuff, driving stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, pole vaulting with sticks. I like when Fred Ward, Earl, goes to do it, and he kind of like halfway, and he's like, and then falls back.
Yeah,
you know,
so good.
It's so funny.
When I was like, I was with Emily, and she's like, "I don't know if I'm gonna watch it or whatever." And I'm like, "Listen, if you don't like it, you can just, I'll watch it by myself. It's fine." By the time we got to that scene, it's like, this chick is here to stay.
Sucks you in, the pole vaulting scene. And
it's a fun scene. And it fits in this movie, and it's so goofy, but it fits in the movie.
Yeah, and they present him with a lot of different challenges, and they fight him off in various different ways. Like, it's not just, they don't use the same trick every time, They have to pull vault between a rock. They have to get on a bulldozer. They have to, just run as fast as they can because they got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
It's all kinds of different scenarios. They take what could have been just this one trick pony and just, again, kind of like in It Follows, just squeeze everything out of it and do every possible angle they could on it.
Before we move on to talking about horror, what do you got?
I was gonna say the girl that plays Mindy. It's a girl from Jurassic Park.
Mindy? Who's Mindy?
That's the little kid with the pogo stick.
What girl from Jurassic Park?
Lex.
Oh, really?
Girl. That's the same actress.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Whatever happened to her?
She was in. She came back for Tremors 3.
Really?
I remember I saw that on IMDb, and then she was in like one random movie 2 years ago.
Really?
That was it. She's like 35 now.
Ariana Richards?
Yep, that's her.
Let's see what.
That's the same girl.
Yeah, Battle Dogs TV movie.
Yep.
Oh, look at her all grown up.
So yeah, and this was pre-Jurassic Park, so there you go. She hasn't changed a bit. Looks the same. Let's see, what else? What other notes do I have here? Out of the, for some reason, I don't know why, this was so funny. When he grabs the map in the convenience store, he marches, Kevin Bacon, marches up to it.
He jumps over the counter.
Yep. And he grabs it, and he throws it down, and he looks at him, and then he starts talking.
he
For whatever reason, I had to pause the movie. I was laughing so hard.
No, dude, I'm with you 100%. Kevin Bacon is giving giving up. I don't know anything about acting. That performance to me is just pure chocolate, dude. It is just it's so enjoyable. You know what I mean? What do you I don't know, man. I have a hard time believing that he didn't want to do this movie. I feel like even if he didn't want to do it at first, I feel like once he got there, because he's just killing it. You know what I mean? In every second that you see Valentine on the screen, Valentine's being Valentine. You know what I mean? Even when he gets frustrated, it's hilarious. If those grab boys don't kill him, I will. What was that? So we've touched on the horror element of this movie, but we see the monster early. What do you make of that? That's something that, I think people who don't like horror and traditional film snobs like the idea of saving the monster reveal for the end. I'm a monster movie fan, bro, and I think you are too.
Oh, yeah. Love monsters.
When I come to a monster movie, I want to see the fucking monster. You know what I mean? I want to see it. I want to see it in the light of day. You know what I mean? So we see it early. I love that. What do you make of it?
I mean, I'm all for. I don't know. Do we see the full thing early?
Pretty early. I mean, we see.
But do we see the tongue come out? Because I think that's kind of a reveal of we see a big worm, and then we see these little worms, and then we realize the little worms are actually inside the big worm and are its tongue, and that's kind of the reveal.
Right. Well, we see the little worms. We see a lot of the little worms early on, and also there's a weird disparaging difference between when it opens its mouth, the worms come out only so many yay or whatever. Yeah. But then when it's attacking the station wagon, I mean those tongues come out real long. Nitpick. But there is that. But basically, by the time we get to, it's the end of the first act, we see the monster. Right. The end of the first act is when the first one kills itself, hitting the damn barrier cement wall, and then they dig it out. And I mean, by that time, we see the head of it, we see how long it is, we see what we're dealing with, and then the reveal is that there's 3 more of these things.
Yep.
Is that the end of the first act, or maybe that's halfway through?
No, that's about the end of the first act.
Okay.
So, maybe the midpoint, the point of no return kind of idea, but yeah, we see it a lot earlier than most quote unquote better monster movies, which wait until Act 3 to actually show us the monster, and by that point it's you can't do much with the monster.
Right.
You spent so much time building it up, and you finally reveal it. It might be scary. Now you have 20 minutes tops to actually play with the monster.
And I feel also a lot of people don't know what to do once they get the monster out. That's the difference, because people cite Jaws as this great example of how you can make them wait and make them wait and make them wait, and that was not done on purpose. That was because they didn't design it to be in salt water, so it didn't work in salt water. But once they show this fucking whole shark, they still have a lot to do with it, right? It's eating dudes, it's fucking up the barrel situation, it's taking down the fucking orca, it's doing a lot of stuff, right? I feel you watch Leviathan or some shit, they reveal the monster and then it's and then it's gonna shove you over because we don't really know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. This movie, I feel like, is dripping with ideas for how they can grab people, how the people can distract them, how you can outrun it, how it could, there's so many great scenes of it, like, going underneath a fence and the fence is falling over, every time it goes passes underneath one of the posts, or like it's going, underneath, you know what I'm saying? Like all these different,
there's the one where the road worker jackhammers into it, little blood spurts out, and then it takes off with the jackhammer in its head, and the jackhammer is going
exactly, yeah,
stuff like that.
Or it eats the girl's the pogo stick, and then it spits it back out, which is foreshadowing of the ending where it eats the pipe bomb and spits it back out.
Yep.
Also, that pipe bomb line. What is in those, Bert? Just your average.
I wrote it down.
Oh, please, please.
A few household chemicals in the proper proportions.
It's so good.
Great.
So good.
And then when they finally kill the monster, it's in the same place where the beginning of the film is.
Well, when they killed the fourth one.
Yeah, the fourth one. Yeah, the last one the one that spits the pipe bomb out that finally learns.
Yeah, Stumpy.
Yep.
Who attacked them to begin with.
So you're getting back to where we started the movie at, which is on this cliffside. They're using all their smarts that they have, and it shoots out over the cliff and splatters in such a satisfying.
Oh my God! Yes.
We get a good. Yeah, you have to have a good monster, and you gotta kill the thing in a great way.
I'm so fucking happy you said this. Because they have 4 monsters and they kill them in 4 different ways. 4 monsters, 4 deaths. Most monster movies rely on blowing up the monster, and I am sick to fucking death. Jaws did it first. Jaws did it best. Like Jaws does everything the best, obviously. Anaconda, they blow up the snake. Lake Placid, they blow up the thing. It's just like, come on, can we stop blowing this shit up? Can we, so they figure out different ways to do it. The first one, they get it to accidentally kill itself when it runs into a brick wall. The second one is shot to death, which is very rare in monster movies. They just shoot something to death.
Uh-huh.
The third one is blown up, which is, you get 1 blow up, that's fine. And then the fourth one, they tricked
it in a satisfying way. Where they're like, let's go fishing for it.
Yeah.
It's a pipe bomb. It eats the pipe bomb. It explodes.
And then typical professional wrestling storytelling, you go for the same finisher the second time, and it gets reversed.
Yep.
And then even when they figured out, like, the pipe bomb makes it run faster because it hurts its not ears, but its hearing nodules. So then he throws it past it, and it makes it shoot right out the mountain.
Yep.
So satisfying.
And then, just a nice, you can tell it's a big full model. It could have been a miniature, I don't know. But it just, when it splats on the ground, it feels heavy and thick, and it almost pops when it hits the ground.
No, it definitely
blood goes everywhere. Yeah. It's satisfying. Everybody's okay.
Right.
So.
Great stuff. And this movie dips a little bit into my favorite of all genres, the we gotta get over there genre, where they have to get out of this place and they don't know how to do it. And then they finally get the tractor, and then they go on a little road trip.
Yep.
So much fun.
Like Bird is like, armored transportation. It's funny.
And he's just standing on the front of it. And then, also, again, more practical effects. They just crash that thing into a ditch.
Yep. That's how you did it.
Shit.
One thing I noted that I just realized I really like about Tremors, and is usually something I hate about creature features, even though I tend to like those kind of movies. The FBI and the military never show up.
Yes, you have Bert, who's always talking about like how evil the government is, but there's also no explanation for the creature, right? It just exists in this valley for some reason. Why no one's ever... They even comment on it, like, but no one's ever seen it? Okay. It doesn't matter, though. And then, it's about them being away from the authority figures. You have to just help yourself.
Yep. Yeah, they're in the middle of nowhere. Bixby's the next big town, and it's... they don't try to shoehorn in, the military's got this great idea to kill it. Oh, that doesn't work. But the rednecks have this idea, and it actually works. Happens in every creature feature. So glad it doesn't happen here.
Yep. Yeah, the thing is that this movie is fun. And there's no real... I mean, I think there's... We'll get into a theme in a minute, but there's no, like, the government is corrupt, like George Romero will give you, or, like, the evilness of a small town. It's not really about that. You know what I mean? So, like, what do you think the theme is?
I think it's just like stick with your people, stick to your guns, do what you do.
Have a goddamn plan! Because they keep talking about having a plan, about how he never has a plan, and you got a plan, and planning is important. You know what I mean? So I think that has something to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I mean, I enjoyed the movie so much, it's hard to be like, this was the point.
Yeah, I think their first job was to make just a fun monster movie, a fun creature feature, and then they sort of put the theme. Yeah, I think that is, figure it out. Like, that's the theme.
Mm-hmm.
Figure it out, be your own thing, stick with your friends, get the job done.
Yep.
I think it's as simple as that.
I got three quick questions for you. Are all the townspeople just redneck stereotypes, or do you think they're trying to subvert this?
I think they're pretty well fleshed out characters. I don't think they're overly yokely or stupid, It's like the only one, they kind of play with it with Bert and Heather as just being like gun nuts, and their license plate says Uzi for you, and they have a free Afghanistan bumper sticker on their they drive a Bronco. I think they have the Bronco.
Yeah, they have the Bronco.
Bronco's a great car, by the way.
That's why Ford still makes them, right?
I think they just revamped. I think so.
Wait, did they? Keep talking.
My dad had a Bronco. You know how big the gas tank is on that bad boy?
100 gallons.
33 gallons.
That's pretty big.
It's a big gas tank. So when you could afford to fill it up, you could go a long ways in it. So.
Ford Bronco 2 from 1983 to 1990.
Sounds about right.
Discontinuation. I mean, I get why. I mean, who? There's a 2004 concept model. People like the idea of an SUV being a big 4-door, seats at least 5, if not 8. You know what I mean? So it's like I kind of get why, in some ways, why it's not there anymore, because it's like it's an enthusiast car.
Yeah, I mean that thing was a big goddamn car.
Only 2 doors in with a back seat though, right?
Yep, only 2 doors. But it got its places. Anyways, talking Bronco talk here.
It's real car talk.
Let's get back to Tremors. Yeah, I don't think they kind of, they're not just dumb hicks. They have ideas, they have plans, they know what works, they know what doesn't. They have personalities, and I don't think it plays into, like, cheap stereotypes,
Mm-hmm. Are the graboids scary and effective monsters?
I think so. They're threatening in a way no other monster has been threatening.
Right, where they're like basically land sharks.
Yep. Which is what they were going to call the movie originally.
Really?
But then Saturday Night Live came out with Land Shark, and they're like, well, we got to come up with something different. So.
I also think that the name graboids is absolutely terrible, and that they should have been called Tremors.
Yeah, I think so too. So.
I mean, in the first movie, it makes sense because everyone in the town's trying to like be smarter than they are. But like later, it's like, let's call them Tremors. Come on.
Yep.
And then
isn't the Chinese guy who comes up with the name graboids?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, graboids. Like, we should market that.
Exactly. And I think So you said what separates them from other on-screen monsters is the idea that their modus operandi is different. It's interesting because It Follows, which we also did for this podcast, and this movie are both monster movies about monsters with unique operating features. Right? Like they go about it in a different kind of a way.
Yeah, they're not. The Tremors, you can't see them, but they can sneak up on you at any time. They sense you differently. Like, they don't really hear so well. They can only hear, like, the explosion is the only thing that really scares them away. But, they hear your feet vibrations, and they follow you based on that. They suck you underground. They can reach you to a certain point. They're just a very different style monster.
I wish that, like, the sci-fi channels made for TV movies were much more in this vein and less in the bullshit that they currently do.
Yeah, like your Sharknadoes, your
Sharktopus, Wolf Shark.
Yeah, it's like stick with, get a new monster, but keep the concept simple.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right, because they're basically making a new monster, but it's not the monster is not a joke. The movie is having fun with this concept, but nothing is a joke. Nothing is oh, these are stupid. You know what I mean?
I mean, essentially, yeah, they're fast worms, but they're big, They have tentacles for tongues with teeth,
And they have menace.
and they have a minute. Exactly.
Also,
They're menacing.
this is an aside, but I mean, did you ever play Fallout? The game Fallout?
Yeah, a little bit. Never got into it. So.
This kind of monster would be perfect for a game like that, right? Where you're like, you got a big open sandbox, and you're walking around, there's cities over here, there's things over here like GTA style, and then there's one area of the desert that's like, Dead Man's Desert, and it's like full of these kind of worm things. You know what I mean?
That would be cool.
How fucking fun would that be?
And then you have to get tools to like track it down with, so
Right.
you can survive a trek through Dead Man's Desert.
Right, exactly. And there was a section of Half-Life 2 that had a desert with creatures in it, you know what I mean? But that's not something you have to traverse more than once. You just have to, get through. It's like a level. You just get through the level, you know what I mean? I want it to be like, I gotta, various missions are gonna take me through this, and if I don't figure out how to, deal with these things, that's an aside. That's for our, not video game podcast, but our secret video game project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Do you think this is a parody of Creature Features? Or a loving homage? I think it's just a monster movie.
I think it's a little bit of both. And maybe not even a parody so much. I think it is just a creature feature, just one with tongue firmly planted in cheek, whereas most have
All three of them.
have a tone of seriousness. Yeah, all three of your tongues in one giant cheek. Mm-hmm. I think creature features have this weird seriousness to them sometimes, and then this one just realizes let's just have fun with the thing.
But that's the thing. It's not let's make fun
Yeah,
of this
it's
thing.
let's
It's let's have fun. Like, you came here to have fun. I feel like if this movie came out today, it would be, people would celebrate it. I think in the 90s we're just too stupid to fucking understand what joy we had.
Well, we were all coming out of the 80s, and everybody was high on cocaine, so...
High on that cocaine. Ready for nitpicks?
Nitpicks.
Her pants. Fuck those pants. They're
pants
so ugly. Let the
bad.
fucking worm eat them. And then she gets some jeans that are at least a dark wash. They're better. But those pants, dude. Jesus fucking Christ.
Melvin should have totally been the one killed, not the nice Chinese man.
Also, Melvin, how is he? Is he just like hanging out in this town? Who's his parents?
Exactly.
Was his parents the redneck guy who dies?
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's just hanging around. There's no explanation as to like, who's taking care of this kid?
No idea. Sign says 14 people in that town. I count 15 credited cast members in this movie.
Who, would the girl be the extra one?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But come on, census.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, okay.
I was being silly. with that
I
nitpick.
bet. Rear projection sometimes didn't work. Nitpick.
Yep.
So, there's a weird scene where they're all stuck on the rock. When they're stuck on the rock overnight, and then he's like, "I gotta take care of some business," and they're like, both of them are like, "Me too," and then they all unzip. It's like, are they like watching each other pee? Like, what are we supposed to take away from that?
Yeah, that was. I didn't really think about that, but yeah, it's kind of. Yeah, we're all peeing at the same time.
Yeah, it's like it's just a weird. It's a weird. And listen, if one of them or all of them, lady included, were peeing, I get it, right? You're stuck on a rock, you gotta pee. But the fact that they just call attention to like, we're all just gonna do it together, so it's not weird. It's like that makes it much more
Way
weird.
stranger.
Yeah.
I feel like it ends kind of fast. I would have wanted a couple more minutes to wrap up. A few
After
other
the
people.
creature's dead.
Yeah, after the
Oh
creature's
yeah.
dead. I feel like it's like creature's dead. Valentine and Rhonda get together. Over.
Yeah,
It's
people
like-
are dead. It doesn't really matter. Basically, the whole town has been essentially ruined. None of those buildings are going to be okay to be inhabitable anymore.
Yep, and it just kind of forgets about it. So
Yeah.
would like a little more resolution. Some of those people, especially Bert and Heather.
Who's Heather?
That's Reba McEntire.
Oh,
I
yes.
think her name's Heather.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we'll call her Reba.
Reba. All right, you want to get into cool stuff?
Let's get into some cool stuff.
With the white stuff on the nose when they first meet Rhonda, just so good at setting up the idea that she is not this model that he wants her to be. You know what I mean?
And it's like, I want her with green eyes, big, perfect breasts, and legs that go forever.
And an ass that won't quit.
And an ass that won't quit.
Yeah, and it just shows how, in contrast, unrealistic his expectations are.
Yep. I like Bert's elephant gun. That thing is.
No, yeah.
That's a sweet gun.
Yeah, that's crazy. The the all the girls on the visor that he has.
Yeah.
And this is how they just throw to that joke. He's like, he flips it down. And he's like, no way, she was great, you know. And then he flips it back up. And then later, after everything is over, he takes them all out and he like crumples them up and throws them away. It's good.
Yep. I like the when they decide who's gonna go get the tractor. They do rock paper scissors, and he says, "Oh, I won. I'm gonna go do it." And he says, "No, you want, like, I'm gonna pick who does it."
Right.
And they kind of get a double reversal. Like Earl wants to do it, so Valentine doesn't have to because they think he realizes he's falling in love with Rhonda. But then Valentine gets him out of the way. Is like, "No, I'm gonna do it because I'm the brave one." You know,
And he elbows him in the chest.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and it's not played as like a showy one-upmanship thing. It's just like, this is the right thing to do. And
Right.
It's a nice moment it's a sweet moment between silly characters.
Mm-hmm.
So
We didn't really talk about this, but I think one of the themes is like the danger of nature. How nature is the true enemy. Nature.
that's why Bert and Rhonda live in their little compound, or not Rhonda. Bert and Heather live in their little compound with its little automated gate. I like that. And their gate's not very tall. Like, anybody could probably scale it.
Yeah.
So. I really like the camera move when they're on top of the general store and it's heading towards the girl on the pogo stick.
Yeah.
And it's like they sell the worm, moving the camera, and then just little dust spurts and things shaking like as it goes. Just a really well-timed, well-thought-out shot.
Also, a lot of good Sam Raimi esque shots where the camera is just flying. It goes through a fence at one point, and I'm like, how do they do that? I guess the fence maybe just broke away.
Yeah.
But really great shit there. Overall, just a spectacularly well-made movie, and on a technical level, lacks nothing.
Yep.
At all.
Completely agree.
Bacon for being miserable, selling the shit out of this movie. The acting is very physical, and I love that. You know, we talked about all these things. Also, I like how the Rhonda character is, she has agency, and she's like the smartest one around. You know, like, everyone's always looking to her for direction. She figures out how to do the pole vaulting thing. She figures out how to be safe from rocks. One of my favorite scenes in the movie. And I'm sure I've said that like 6 times because they're all my favorite scene. But they jump in the back of her truck, open the little thingy. She gets in there and starts controlling it with her hands.
Yep.
Kevin Bacon punches one of the worms in the face, and then she speeds off. And then they're celebrating in the back, and she's like, "Can someone help?"
Yep. One thing I wanted to note, when the doctor and his wife their car gets eaten, I really like how the tentacles leave mucus on the window.
Yeah.
It looks very realistic, because if you ever had a dog snout on your window,
Yeah.
it's just very sticky, but it smears the dirt in an interesting way.
Mm-hmm.
And that just, like, they totally sold that. Whatever slime or goo they use on that puppet, it just works perfectly.
Totally. Each monster killed in a different way. Reba does a good job for what, she's asked to do. Great music in this movie.
Yeah, bluegrass horror, I call it.
Totally great. And it's fun. Like, you want to hang out in this world. As bad as the shit is, as bad as the shit is in that movie, like, you kind of want to be in this movie, right? You wish the world was this movie where it's just fun and we're just figuring it out, and you know what I mean?
Riding lawnmowers across
Right.
across the desert. Mm-hmm. It does look like fun. It's like a trip with your buddies, but there's some stakes.
And a lot of wittiness all around.
Yep.
Any other?
No, I mean, it's this whole movie is just a cool stuff movie. It's like every scene has some great in it. Every character has great moments. I think it benefits from having a small cast, because every character has time enough to flesh out and have their good moments.
Do we like this movie? It works.
I think that's a yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Come on, obviously, right?
Love it.
Sequel. I mean, they've made other sequels to this movie. Spoilers for the sequel. The worms is like reproductive system. Like, smaller creatures burrow out of them, alien style, and then they walk around. And then there's other ones that fly. Do you have any sequel ideas that you want to get into? In the first half, we did say that Kevin Bacon has been talking about the idea of coming back to this.
So let's see, 25 years later, so let's say him, Rhonda, and let's say there are 5 kids. Let's call them 5 kids. Return to perfection.
Rhonda hasn't been doing much, by the way, actress-wise.
No, she hasn't. Go out there to maybe do a historical dig of some kind, and maybe a new little perfection has been built, and then the graboids come back, and it's them and their kids fighting off the graboids, potentially. 5 little Valentines running around. Could be fun.
That's as good as any.
You know, I just don't want it to stray too far. Like in Tremors 2, it's when they're walking around, it's like that's just not as threatening. You know, you can see them; they're not very fast. I just don't want to keep. I want to keep them underground, keep them with somewhat limited abilities, but they're still menacing. You know.
So my pitch is as follows. Pause while I look this me.
You know, and bring Ron Underwood back for my sequel as director. He did a fine job.
Do you know what else he's done?
He did Mighty Joe Young with Charlize Theron. Remember that movie? Big Gorilla?
Yeah.
And he's done a lot of episodes of the TV show Once Upon a Time. But yeah, he's kind of done stuff here and there.
So here's my pitch. So set 25 years or however many real-time years after the discovery of a new species in Paradise? Perfection, Nevada. Tremors Park has been open for 10 years without any operating issues. Fully functional theme park. You know, you got the Tremors rides, live feedings. You know, you got the worms that are in a big swimming pool kind of thing where, you know, triple concrete, and then you see them, you know, eat sheep and stuff, and then you got all the different versions of them. And then the park plunges into chaos when a genetically modified tremor breaks loose and runs rampant across the park.
Wow, what should we call it?
You call it Tremors 4.
Tremors Planet, perhaps?
Yeah, Tremors Planet. Tremors Planet.
It's a good idea. Will the tremor be in heels?
The tremor will not be in heels, but there is going to be a bizarro lingerie level that one would find from Last Action Hero, where it's like, why is some girl walking around in the Nevada heat in, like, you know, plastic underwear?
I'm aroused.
All right. You like that? You like that pitch?
I like that. I'll dig it.
And then, listen, we can involve, we're going to...
Certainly haven't seen that one before.
It's totally... And then, but we can have your thing there, too, where they bring back...
Bring the kids.
Bring back Kevin Bacon's character and Rhonda's character and their 5 kids, and they have a financial stake in the park, and everyone else has been hooked up from the town, you know, in the financial stake for the park, and then they're coming back to do a 25 or whatever 30-year, you know, thing, and then all hell breaks loose, and it's just like, not again! Fuck!
Fuck you!
Yeah, you know what I mean?
These mother humpers.
I feel like our 2 pitches together is actually a funny movie.
It could be good.
Universal.
Tremors Planet.
Universal making fun of itself.
Could be a good time.
Why not?
Universal? You've made like $8 billion.
But here's the real question: How is it genetically modified?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say bigger. Bigger teeth. Like actually more teeth.
Hind legs.
Nah, I don't want it to walk. I want it to crawl.
All right,
that's all.
That's fair.
Maybe it can crawl above ground a little bit, but not walk. Like slither like a worm or a slug.
Oh no! So it's just like a megalodon shark. It's just huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just absolutely gigantic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got spikes on it.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Oh, and on its front too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tusks? Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. All right.
Got graboid with tusks.
Graboid with tusks. Any crazy fan theories? I don't think we have one.
Nah.
I think our crazy fan theory is this fucking sequel pitch. That's what I think.
Could happen. Why not? Why not make it happen?
All right. Yeah.
We could bring Fred Ward back, Reba McEntire. We can get the whole.
Dude, yeah, Reba, dude. She's got like 10 years of TV experience, and now we could actually expand her role to something legitimate.
Exactly. She's not just a country singer.
Talking about how my son just doesn't respect me. I never watched an episode of Reba in my life.
That's essentially every episode of Reba.
I bet it is. You got any other plugs or any other mugs?
I got nothing today, but
well then,
maybe another day.
We'll wrap this up. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram at Big Cinema.
Ooh, we're on Instagram.
The Instagram's pretty hot. Should have plugged that like 3 episodes ago, but fuck it. Check us out on there. Content goes up every now and again. Every Sunday, we'll put up a new episode. Rate, review, subscribe. Wherever you want, listen. Hit us up on Twitter if you have any questions. If there's anything you want to see, you can suggest it I'm not promising anything. I kind of regret saying this.
I'll say, interested in guest hosting anything? Then let us know. Mm-hmm. We might bring you on. We'll screen you first.
Yeah, the screening process is tough. The background check here it's tight.
Vicious.
It's vicious. All right, keep it real.
Have a good one.
Keeping it real. Okay, so we're rolling. Sounds good. You hear yourself?
Checking. Chest. Chest 1 2. Chest 1 2. Yeah, I can hear myself. I got it.
You good?
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
Bacon and eggs or bacon and hash browns? Oh, I'm gonna take that again. Bacon and eggs, bacon or hash browns?
Bacon and eggs.
Wait, hold on. Let me do it again. Bacon or bacon? Oh, fuck. Here we go. We are recording.
Tremors episode.
Good?
Good.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Best way to kill creatures: flamethrower or rocket launcher, or just some well-placed Slim Whiteman.
Slim Whitman. Little Mars Attacks reference there.
Should I take it again?
Take it again.
Okay. You say that line.